Welcome back to English Podcast and Tech. I am Charles. Let me ask you something. Do you remember the phone you had 5 years ago? Compare it to the phone you have today. It is faster. It has more memory. The camera is better. The screen is sharper. Now think about 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The difference is enormous. Why does technology improve so fast? Is it random? Is it luck? No. In 1965, one man looked at the data and predicted exactly how fast technology would grow. For 50 years, he was right. This is episode 9 of The People Who Built the Digital World. Today we meet Gordon Moore, co-founder of Intel, and the man behind one of the most famous predictions in the history of science. Let's begin. Let's start with today's key words. The first word is microchip. A microchip is a very small piece of silicon that contains millions or billions of transistors and electronic circuits. Every electronic device you use contains microchips. They are the brain and memory of modern technology. Repeat after me, microchip. The second word is prediction. A prediction is a statement about what will happen in the future based on current information or patterns. Gordon Moore made a prediction in 1965 that guided the entire technology industry for 50 years. We call it Moore's Law. Repeat after me, prediction. The third word is double. To double means to multiply by 2, to become twice as large. Moore's law states that the number of transistors in a microchip doubles approximately every 2 years. This doubling is what drives the constant improvement of technology. Repeat after me, double. The fourth word is integrated circuit. An integrated circuit is a complete electronic circuit with transistors, resistors, and connections, all built onto a single small piece of silicon. The integrated circuit made it possible to put an entire computer on a single microchip. Before the integrated circuit, electronic components had to be connected by hand, one by one. Repeat after me, integrated circuit. The fifth word is exponential. Exponential means growing at an increasingly fast rate. Each step is larger than the previous one. If you double a number repeatedly, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, the growth becomes exponential. Moore's law describes exponential growth in computing power. Repeat after me, exponential. The sixth word is co-founder. A co-founder is one of 2 or more people who start a company together. Gordon Moore was a co-founder of Intel, together with Robert Noyce. Intel became one of the most important technology companies in the world. Repeat after me, co-founder. The seventh word is benchmark. A benchmark is a standard point of reference used to measure or compare performance. Moore's law became the benchmark for the entire semiconductor industry. Companies planned their research and production targets around it for decades. Repeat after me, benchmark. The eighth word is limit. A limit is a point beyond which something cannot go further. Today, Moore's law is reaching its physical limits. Transistors are now so small, just a few atoms wide, that it is becoming extremely difficult to make them smaller. Repeat after me, limit. 8 words, microchip, prediction, double, integrated circuit, exponential, co-founder, benchmark, limit. Now let's hear his story. The year is 1929. In San Francisco, California, a boy is born. His name is Gordon Earl Moore. Gordon grows up in Pescadero, a very small coastal town south of San Francisco. The population is just a few hundred people. It is a quiet, simple place. But Gordon is not a quiet, simple thinker. From a young age, he is fascinated by chemistry. At 10 years old, he experiments with chemicals in his backyard, a habit that occasionally causes small explosions. His neighbors are not always pleased, but his parents encourage his curiosity. Gordon studies chemistry at the University of California, Berkeley, one of the best universities in the United States. He later earns a PhD in chemistry and physics from the California Institute of Technology, Caltech. In 1956, Gordon Moore receives a phone call that changes his life. The call is from William Shockley, the Nobel Prize winner we met in the last episode. Shockley is starting a new company in California, Shockley Semiconductor Laboratory. He invites Moore to join as one of his first engineers. Moore accepts. He moves to the San Francisco Bay Area, a decision that will shape the rest of his life. But as we heard in Episode 8, working with Shockley quickly becomes impossible. In 1957, Moore is one of the 8 engineers who resign together and leave Shockley's company. Together with his 7 colleagues, the traitorous 8, as Shockley called them, Moore co-founds Fairchild Semiconductor. At Fairchild, Moore works on the development of the integrated circuit, the technology that puts an entire electronic circuit onto a single chip of silicon. This is a revolutionary development. For the first time, complex electronic systems can be made extremely small, cheap, and reliable. In 1965, just 8 years after leaving Shockley's company, Moore is asked to write an article for a technical magazine called Electronics. The magazine asks him to predict how semiconductor technology will develop over the next 10 years. Moore sits down and looks at the data. He examines the history of integrated circuits since their invention just 6 years earlier. He notices something remarkable. The number of transistors that engineers can fit onto a single chip has been doubling approximately every year. More transistors means more processing power. More processing power means faster, smarter, more capable devices. Moore writes his article. His prediction is simple and clear. The number of transistors on a microchip will continue to double approximately every year. Later, he adjusts this to every 2 years. But the fundamental idea remains the same. This prediction becomes known as Moore's Law. To understand why Moore's Law is so powerful, let's think about it with a simple example. Imagine you have 1 transistor on a chip in 1965. By 1967, you have 2. By 1969, 4. By 1971, 8. This sounds slow, but exponential growth accelerates very fast. By 1985, just 20 years after Moore's article, a single chip contains more than 1 million transistors. By 2000, more than 40 million. By 2010, more than 1 billion. By 2020, more than 50 billion transistors on a single chip. Each doubling means computers become roughly twice as powerful, and often at the same or lower cost. This is why the phone in your pocket today is more powerful than the computers NASA used to send humans to the moon in 1969. In 1968, Gordon Moore and his colleague Robert Noyce leave Fairchild Semiconductor to start a new company. They call it Intel, from Integrated Electronics. Intel becomes one of the most important and valuable technology companies in the world. Intel produces the microprocessors that power most of the world's personal computers for decades, including the first IBM PC in 1981 and billions of machines after it. Moore serves as Intel's CEO from 1975 to 1987, and as chairman until 1997. Throughout his time at Intel, Moore's Law serves as both a description and a goal, engineers work to make sure the prediction stays true. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The industry organizes itself around Moore's law, setting research budgets, production targets, and product timelines based on the prediction. Outside of his work in technology, Gordon Moore is known for his extraordinary generosity. In 2000, he and his wife Betty established the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation with an initial donation of $5 billion. The foundation supports science, environmental conservation, and education around the world. Gordon Moore dies in March 2023 at the age of 94 in Hawaii, surrounded by his family. Today, Moore's law is slowing down. Transistors are now just a few atoms wide. Physics itself is becoming a barrier. But the decades of exponential growth that Moore predicted and that the industry delivered gave us the digital world we live in today. A quiet boy from a small coastal town predicted the future of technology and was right for 50 years. Let's review the 8 key words from today's episode. Microchip, a tiny piece of silicon containing billions of transistors. Every electronic device you use is powered by microchips. Prediction, a statement about what will happen in the future. Moore's prediction in 1965 guided the technology industry for 50 years. Double, to multiply by 2. Moore's law says the number of transistors on a microchip doubles approximately every 2 years. Integrated circuit, a complete electronic circuit on a single piece of silicon. The integrated circuit made modern microchips possible. Exponential, growing at an increasingly fast rate. Moore's law describes exponential growth, which is why technology improves so dramatically over time. Co-founder, one of the people who starts a company together. Gordon Moore was co-founder of both Fairchild Semiconductor and Intel. Benchmark, a standard point of reference for measuring performance. Moore's law became the benchmark that the entire semiconductor industry planned around. Limit, a point beyond which something cannot go further. Today, transistors are approaching their physical limits, just a few atoms wide. That is the story of Gordon Moore, the man who predicted the future of technology with a simple observation. A boy who made small explosions in his backyard. A scientist who co-founded Intel. A visionary whose prediction shaped 50 years of human progress. Today's phrase to remember is, "The future belongs to those who can see the pattern." Moore did not invent a new technology in 1965. He simply looked at the data carefully and saw the pattern. Repeat after me. The future belongs to those who can see the pattern. One more time. The future belongs to those who can see the pattern. In the next episode, we meet Douglas Engelbart, the man who invented the computer mouse and who showed the world for the first time what a personal computer could really do. Your question for today in English. Can you think of something in your life that has improved exponentially in the last 10 years? Write your answer in the comments. It is great English practice. See you in episode 10. This is Charles, and this is English Podcast and Tech.